Better.
Great. What's up, everybody? Jensen Cummings here. Thank you for tuning in on this Sunday. Back again, Heather Lundy, who is with Khesed Wellness, founder and CEO. Good to see you again. It's been a couple months. It feels like a couple years. How are you doing?
I resonate with that very statement, Jensen. It's great to see you. It's a joy to be back and have another conversation. And it has been a long couple months for all of us, huh?
Really has. So I want to take people back. This is episode 5 when I said, I just have to go live. I need to talk to people. I felt disconnected the instant the restaurant shut down and said, I just got to reach out to my people and talk to them. John Hinman connected us. John Hinman of Chow, Culinary Hospitality Outreach and Wellness, doing a lot of work around just camaraderie within the industry through the lens potentially of mental health and substance abuse, but really just camaraderie. And we had a conversation about something that you all had just accomplished of closing funding for 500 free wellness check-ins from kind of a telehealth standpoint. And we talked about that a little bit. So I want to check in with you. How has that been going over the last few months? And kind of start there. Give us a little background over the last few months, the impact that has had.
Definitely. So I am the founder and CEO of Khesed Wellness, which is an outpatient mental health and wellness nonprofit based in Denver. And our mission is to make mental health and wellness services affordable for the underinsured. And what we know about in the restaurant and hospitality industry is most people, if they have insurance, are underinsured and live paycheck to paycheck. And so we don't have the out-of-pocket resources to get that we need. So if we reach that point of saying, I'd really love a clinician, the first thing that we say next is, I can't afford it.
Right.
So what we know is that there's always been a need, and Khesed has been around for 4 years now. So we've been mobilizing our mission for a couple of years. But when COVID unfolded, I immediately knew we have to eliminate all cost for displaced workers, for people who are now in a position of going, what do I do with my life? Much more living paycheck to paycheck and all those realities. And so the community got behind it. We raised 500 free sessions, which actually means each person in the program gets 12 free sessions per person. So it's not just a one session and then you have to start paying this lump sum. You get 12 sessions. And we also, in the last month, have raised funds for an additional 167 sessions. So we now have 667 sessions available. And what I can tell you right now is this is just the beginning. I want us to continue raising as much funding as we need to be able to support the entire hospitality industry, because it makes up 10% of the overall workforce of Colorado.
Yes.
And it's about time that we can gather community around mental health being a right for everybody, and everybody deserves to be able to get the help that they can afford.
Yeah, it's about damn time is right. If people only have a couple minutes with us, I want to get really practical for them in case they got a jet before we get into our whole story. Where exactly can they go find out how to get free sessions? Let's give them some of the practical how-to.
So contact us on our website. It's super easy, khesedwellness.com/contact. And Khesed is spelled KHESED, wellness.com/contact. Or you can call us 720-575-9889, and we will give you a call within 2 business days.
Okay, that's great. All right, we got the website up. Sophie will find that phone number as well to make sure that we can connect people that way as well. So I want people to know that. So a session. When you talk about mental health in the restaurant industry, we're work hard, we're play hard, we overcome anything and everything. We have a lot of tough guy, tough gal mentality for sure. And so that seems like it's for somebody else, right? Or we have, myself included, plenty of bouts with substance abuse issues, yet I never hit rock bottom. So it's for somebody else, right? I want to talk to that a little bit. Let's just throw that right out of the window, and you tell us how people can feel about a session with you, not feeling like this is you've hit rock bottom, but this is just like, I need to talk to somebody about something other than this last service or how fucking drunk I got last night, which is the norm of the conversations we have far too often. So give us a little bit of insight into the conversations that they can expect to have.
Sure. Well, I think before saying that, several members of Khesed's team, our clinicians, come from the hospitality world, and in
So
fact,
they get it. They
one of
really
our
get it.
people has a degree. So we get it more than people often realize. It's how we paid our way through school, and a lot of you understand what that means too. But mental health should be the space where you can be most honest. And the relationship is key. Finding a mental health therapist that you connect with, on top of respecting their expertise, is essential. Oftentimes, we have this view that mental health is going to be this sterile environment where somebody's trying to diagnose you. And in my opinion, if that's the case, there's something missing. High quality care is a highly skilled mental health therapist treating you more human than most places we can experience in other places. And to your point, Jensen, not every environment is conducive for us to be able to sort through, why do we turn to substances every time we get off work? Yes, there's a cultural component, and I'm guessing there's also a stress reduction component, a true medication, alternative. Self-medication with substances is a huge conversation in a number of industries. And so I think also normalizing the fact that we can meet people where they are, and there's some understandable resistance that people have developed about mental health, but there's also a ton, and I'll even say a shit ton of us who are here because we want to help, we can help, and it's an incredibly warm and super normal environment. Now, for some of us, it's not normal.
Where you are, hold on. I want to like touch on this because there's some vernacular. There's sometimes some jargon that comes with speaking about mental health or substance abuse, and so meet people where they are. What does that specifically mean? Does that mean literally you're driving your car to the parking lot that they're at, that they got their cars because they got drunk? Like, give us a little bit, get granular with it so we can really understand.
Sure. So I was specifically talking to your question about resistance to mental health. So it's important that clinicians are able to meet a client in a place of a client saying, I don't know if I trust you. I don't know what I feel comfortable sharing with you. Build up that trust. I think not feeling like you have to reach a certain level of struggle, just like what you were saying about rock bottom, to be able to get help. Now, as far as Khesed geographically meeting people where they are, right now we're 100% virtual, which is also a way of maintaining safety during COVID and eliminating roadblocks. But we also have partnerships with locations around the Denver metro area. So when we start opening in-person care again, which we do value, we have 13 locations that people can be met at.
Understood. So a session itself, is it an hour session? I mean, you see in movies, they're like, oh, our hour is up. Get off my couch, right? That scenario. What exactly is it going to be? I'm on the phone with you for 10 minutes, half an hour. Give us a little bit of just the practical.
So when a person first calls Khesed to get help, we'll do what's called a free initial consultation. And that's meeting with somebody on our intake team that's a trained clinician to be able to understand, why are you seeking help with us? Why do you want to get mental health support? And that helps us assign you to a clinician that specializes in whatever you're navigating and also is a good relational fit for you. So some people say, hey, I really appreciate direct feedback. Great. We have some clinicians who can provide some really direct feedback.
They're used to getting yelled at by chefs, so they need that instant feedback loop. It makes sense.
Yeah. So all of that matters, right? All of that creates an environment where a person can feel safe. Now, typically after that, when you set up your first session with a clinician, the sessions are hourly or 50 minutes on the hour. So a 50-minute session is also interchangeable with an hour session in our world. And that really is the beginning of therapy. The first few sessions, you meet with the therapist, and it's also a chance to get to know each other as well as discuss what brought you in to get some support. And then usually there's some goals that the client and clinician form together to stay on the same page of making sure that the clinician is addressing the needs that you want to work through. It's important that we don't assume what you want to work through, right? Or create a vision for you. So that's also part of meeting people where they are. What is your vision for what you want in your life? Or what do you want to see eliminated in what's currently going on? And then from there, you do the work together. You determine what kind of frequency is most helpful. So that's everything from weekly to once a month to every other week, because everybody's needs are different. And so we meet people where they are as far as what can you even be able to do, much more what does the clinician think would be best based on what they hear is going on. So it's a really collaborative relationship to form the environment and the plan for what you want to get help with. We often talk about it, Khesed, our job is to work ourselves out of a job. And so we mean that. And whatever that looks like for you to get the help you need, great. For some people, they need 4 sessions and then they're good to go. Other people, they need a longer amount of time, but less frequency because they need someone alongside them as they process stuff. And so we meet people where they need the help.
So one of the things right off the bat that makes sense to me thinking about that is I have no idea what I need. I just know something's off. I have no idea what I need. I'm so in it. I can't see the forest through the trees. And what I recognize as somebody who's, I call myself a translator for people that think they speak the same language a lot within hospitality, the whole ecosystem. So I just ask questions. I don't have very many answers, just enough questions, and then I recognize good answers. So it feels like that's probably a lot of what your team is good at. In that sense, the lens of hospitality, it's our job to put on a good face and a good experience. Sure. So like it's a lot of layers that you got to get through. I want to touch on that a little bit. For me personally, like all of the bad experiences that I have, I was also surrounded by people that I love and respect and still have great relationships with. So for me personally, one of the things that I struggle with is like, yes, I woke up in my car in the parking structure of 2 different restaurants because of the decisions that I made, right? I've plenty of bridges that I burned because of the decisions that I made. And yet so many of the people through that time, like I don't demonize that time. How do you reconcile that sometimes when I'm thinking about having so much love for those moments and trying to reconcile the fact that there was so much toxicity in a moment like that for me personally, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think something that I appreciate in what you're saying is you're speaking to the human experience, right? It's not so, we can't so neatly split up all the experiences, even into good or bad, or, what it is that I need to work through and accept versus what it is that I need to have some reaction to. I think something that is a misnomer about mental health is that people say, I'm depressed and I want to get happy. Help me be happy. Mental health is actually far more about, here is where we are in our expansiveness. Maybe we're a little bit limited in our self-compassion. Maybe we are pretty resistant to even seeing some of the hard parts about what happened, to the example that you gave of why do I find myself now 2 times waking up in my car in the parking garage? And then create more expansiveness of learning how to receive both the pain and the joy, right? The complexities with the lessons. And so mental health often becomes a place of opening ourselves more expansively to receive whatever has happened to us and also to receive ourselves. It's not so much a splicing of that was good, this was bad, here is what's better. It's a lot more than that. And what I also think is so important is coming in and not knowing. That's also part of the human experience. Something that we talk about sometimes in our sessions is lost is a place too. Like we have a lot of clients that come to us and they're like, I don't know. All I know is I'm not happy. But I don't even know what I need to work on. That's an important place too.
One of the things in our industry, I mentioned the like work hard, play hard. We have this toughness to us, like we can overcome anything. We almost like bad news better than good news. We're so used to like, it's been too long on this ticket, refire this. What's happening with this? This guest was unhappy with that. Like, and we figure out solutions around it. So we feel that we have the tools and capabilities to overcome any of these adverse situations because in a microcosm in our little world, we overcome these small functionalities of service in a restaurant. However, that doesn't necessarily leave us open to not being able to do that for ourselves. I think of like, if you represent yourself, you have an idiot for a lawyer or whatever that is, paraphrasing that. I think about that a lot, and not being able to diagnose myself, even though I can diagnose every situation in a restaurant. And so I wonder about that. How do we get through to ourselves and knowing that, like, just because you need to talk to somebody about something doesn't mean that you're not still a badass and like an ace in your position? Like, talk about that dynamic, because I'm sure you deal with that all the time.
Not only do I deal with that all the time, but it's amazing how much what you're saying is similar for mental health clinicians.
Sure.
We can often be the tough guys and the tough women and the tough people navigating, being the ones who show up whenever, when the building's burning down, we run into it. Right. And in a lot of ways, if you think about it, mental health is about meeting people in struggle. And so we invite the chaos in what we do. And yet we often have to remember that we're human. And I think one of the best selling points, honestly, that I could give is the healthier you are, the better you are at everything else that you do.
Yes.
And so
we're going to wrap here, and I want you to go deeper down that rabbit hole, because that's exactly it. We sometimes think if you don't work 70 hours a week, you're not as committed, you're not as productive. Yet half that time you're just spinning your wheels, versus being like, if you're really good at your job, 43 hours and you get it done means that you're figuring out ways to be more efficient, to utilize your team, all these things I talk about a lot from a practical standpoint. So go further down that. You can be better by knowing that you don't have to be indestructible, maybe.
Right. So if you're getting up every morning and you don't want to get out of bed, and you have to drink a 6-pack to be able to get yourself out of bed.
Yeah.
Or you drink a 12-pack the moment that you get off of work, because that's the only thing that gets you calm enough after your night to be able to go to sleep. There's health-related issues I think we can all agree on, even, your body's reaction to that kind of wear. There's relationship issues. There's potentially job issues. And this is only one scenario of many different scenarios that we could go down, where if you can get support and understanding other ways that you could calm yourself after work, or other ways that you can balance the work-life stresses that are inherent to the industry, imagine how much more focused you would be at your job. Imagine how much more patient that you would be, and also even potentially better at directing people where they need to go and what they need to do. There's a concept of the economy of movement, this idea that every movement matters, everything you say matters. And I feel like chefs are the best at understanding that, because everything is about time, right? And so if chefs can be on point with that craft, imagine how much better the food is, how much happier the customers are, which translates to the bottom line if we really get honest about it. And so to me, it's all connected. And I think what's unfortunate about how mental health has gotten connected to failure or stigma is that we actually miss how much of an asset it could be to the very culture that you want to create. Mental health isn't here to change you, even to change your toughness. We want to make your toughness better and more strategic, because that's also what makes your restaurant better, right? And your leadership stronger. So I think that that's a huge thing that I want to advocate for, because I think it's unfortunate how much we associate mental health with a side of vulnerability that we connect to weakness. Because the people that I know that take their mental health the most seriously are some of the strongest people that I know.
Yes, that perfect way to end, Heather. So good. You even made it practical from a business standpoint. Now I'm thinking not just about the people that should be calling you, and it's connect.
Yes, please.
with Khesed. They've been working really hard to get these free sessions. They have clinicians that have the background and really get it in hospitality. They're going to help you navigate and just kind of take a step back and be able to figure out kind of where you're at, where you want to be, and help you accomplish those things as another tool in your tool belt of just like the butchery class that you took and anything else that's furthering your education. This is another way to be more dynamic. And I really like that you also now connected owners, operators. This is an opportunity like there never has been before to invest in the success of your human capital, which always drives bottom line and creates a successful business. time and time again. It's historically true. So I really appreciate it. Heather, thank you so much. So great to see you.
Thank you, Jensen.
So excited about the work. 667 free sessions.
Woo.
It's unbelievable.
Love it. Great to see you.
All right. Have a great day. I really appreciate it. Take care.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. The way she finished was perfect, connecting all the dots from the individuals to the team to the business itself to the industry as a whole. It can actually level you up. It's not a step down or backwards. It's leveling up for sure. So I really appreciate that. Sophie, I saw a lot of head nodding for sure. I think it was interesting to you. Any takeaways from you? Hop in here.
Hi. I was so excited that she was just saying the name of the website and I popped it up and I was like, I didn't even mean to, but that was perfect timing.
Perfect timing. You're getting pro at this. I love it.
Crushing.
Any takeaways for you from that you thought were impactful?
Mental health support is so important. And I think that there are so many people in the hospitality industry that have they don't want to go and seek help, and they think it's gonna make them less. It's gonna make them look weaker to their friends, and it's not what they're doing. And I think that if everybody took the time to just go and help themselves, it's actually helping you, and you're gonna get better in your life and also in your work, and it's gonna really help with all the substance abuse culture that we currently have in the industry. I mean, we talked to John a while back about that, and he was so helpful connecting us to Heather that I think that we really got to take this fight more seriously and these conversations much more seriously than we're currently doing, because and COVID's just making this whole thing worse. So this is the time to get help.
For sure. No, that's great. Appreciate the insights. All right, everybody. That is it for today. Thank you. Another episode of Best Served High Hospitality Industry Good Health. Have a great day. I appreciate you. Cheers.